We've all passed them in the streets as we frantically dash through town, too self-absorbed to stop and think about buying a magazine. In this short film, I, Holly Ryder, look into the misjudged lives of the city's big issue sellers. First day, and I'm meeting with a couple of big issue vendors outside the old office, which I've just found out has recently been shut down due to the lack of funds. Already I can see how much of a struggle these guys face to keep the magazine alive. Experiencing firsthand how they're received and treated by the public, I soon learned the harsh reality of living on the streets. Steve, why did the big issue lose its funding and close down the building?
The main reason is the fire brigade closed down because the fire alarm wasn't working properly. And our bosses down London don't think that we sell enough books for us to matter.
Right, okay.
So they don't care about it really.
Is there any other way you can get the funding back for the building?
We're going to have to give up this office because it's massive, it's too big anyway, we don't need it. All we need is a storage space really, so we can store the books. So I can get the books and I can pass them on to the other vendors.
How do you think people in Newcastle or any other city centres that you've ever worked in perceive people that sell the big issue?
A lot of them are nice. The odd minority will say something like, why don't you get a proper job? But then I think to myself, it's Friday, it's 10:30, it's like, why haven't they got a proper job? You know what I mean? They're saying to me, get a proper job. But all in all, Newcastle is quite a good place.
Do you think it's got better over the years, worse over the years? Has there been like much of a change?
It hasn't really changed. It's just some people have sort of got sick of the big issue. They figured it phased in and it should have phased out by now. You know, we really do try to help people. You know, but not many people like we. Our very first sponsor, who sponsored John Bird when he first started it years ago, was the Body Shop.
All right.
Right, they were the very first people to give us money.
Yeah.
Right, and since then our biggest sponsor is Barclays Bank. They know the score. They know that we need the big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without the big issue, right, things would drop drastically for a lot of people. Honestly, there is a lot of people need it, you know.
Yeah.
But we don't like have people begging. Begging and the big issue is two different things.
Two different things, definitely.
When somebody's begging and using the big issue to beg, they do lose their badge and they get told off, you know what I mean? What we do is we sell books.
Yeah.
You know, we have got a bit of pride, we're not beggars.
Talking to Steve really gave me an insight into how the big issue works and what they need to do to secure their new offices. Currently unoccupied, this is the smaller building the big issue sellers hope to rent. At just £500, that's over a third less than the current building that they've been kicked out of. After picking up a magazine called Street News sold by the homeless in New York, John Bird immediately saw an opportunity for this to become just as big back home in the UK. In 1991, the first issue sold close to 30,000 copies in our country's capital, London. And now, almost 20 years later, it still manages to sell 200,000 copies a week nationwide. I'm here at Granger Street in Newcastle city centre, gathering the public's opinions on the city's big issue sellers. Have you ever bought a big issue before?
No.
Why not? Is the answer. Because they're tramps.
I'm not always convinced that the people who sell it are doing so for the right reasons.
If I want to sell a big issue anywhere but near me, I don't mind.
I just wonder what they do with the money.
If you have like change in your pocket, I wouldn't stop like to grab.
Yeah.
It all depends if there's a topic in which I like.
Have you ever bought a big issue before?
When I was younger.
I think it does something good for the homeless.
Oh, it's important to, you know, make some sort of statement charity-wise.
Yeah.
Probably more pity, to be honest.
Instead of drinking in the streets and like that, they're doing something good for the community.
While out on Northumberland Street, I met Paul, the representative for the North East. He agreed to be interviewed later on. Does it vary how many issues you sell depending who's on the cover or depending what type of day it is?
Yes, it varies a lot. If it's a hot sunny day and there's somebody good on the cover and people are in good moods, I sell quite a few. But if it's drizzling and rain and it's not such an interesting cover, the people just tend to walk past it because they can't be bothered stopping the rain. have a look on that and things like that.
How many big issues do you sell on average a day?
A day? Well, the last couple of days I've been selling 15 a day for the last 2 days.
Is that good, normal?
Well, at the moment that's pretty good for myself. Last week, I've just found out today, last week I sold 71 magazines last week, and I think that's pretty good.
After some more research on the magazine, I knew what I wanted to learn from my meeting with Paul and hoped to find out what is the big issue.
Hi Holly. Nice to meet you. No bother, my pleasure. The idea of the big issue is it's a bridge to somewhere else to get back to mainstream. That is the ethos of the big issue. It's not a charity. It's not about just giving them money. It's about they buy the magazine, they sell it on at a profit, and then that profit they use positively in their life.
How long have you been with the organisation? What is your role?
My role, I've been here just under 3 years. It feels like 30. My job is to basically up the sales. That's the brief from head office. The magazine has to support itself, otherwise it will go out of business. Fortunately, we've got James Kahn on the board now, one of the dragons, so it brings some business acumen to us. We do have a charitable arm called the Foundation, which anybody who donates to it, obviously it's all charity and it goes into that particular arm of the organisation.
How do you find people, or do they come to you for looking for jobs?
We walk the streets, basically you bump into them. We go around the hostels where, you know, someone who might have been homeless has got a bed for maybe a few weeks. So the idea is they can get the dignity of getting some money in their pocket, get some sort of responsibility in their life and move forward. There's just a steady stream of people always coming, you know, and it's pretty sad really. And I just thought that we might meet one person a month, you know, but you meet 5 or 6 a week in one place, and it's ridiculous.
Has it changed much in the past years due to the recession or anything else? Has the sales increased, decreased?
Pro rata, the sales are going up.
All right.
And that's probably due to we have a proactive sales approach, and that's what I do as well with the vendors. We work with them individually, and we try and teach them how to communicate with people. Now on the street it's quite difficult 'cause it's from a cold start, so you have to have a little bit of people skill in you. We need to educate the public about the drop. If we change the drop, we'll increase the circulation by 4 times, which is a massive amount. So little things like that can just be adjusted to bring it forward, but it's going to take a massive amount of effort to do it. You can't just educate the general public by screaming out on Northumberland Street. I thought when I started...
The future of the big issue looks stable, but sadly this means there will be a constant flow of homeless people to keep the magazine alive. From the few sellers I spoke to during my time spent with them, I realised just how misunderstood they are. Big issue selling is a job and takes a lot of patience and dedication to the magazine. For these sellers it's a lifestyle and all they have for now to make some sort of income. I've learned a lot from my time spent with Paul and the sellers and realised just how easy it is to misjudge people and get it completely wrong.
Big issue, please, thank you. Would anyone like a big issue, please? How about you? Would you like one?
But the wind won't carry you far this time. The truth is you've lost your own wings. Traded them in for mere shiny things, lying in your pockets as well. Oh,